Hello everyone, again this is me, Willie Delmas. It is a pleasure for me to be able to come back every Friday to have a little discussion with you regarding things in life, things especially related to parenting, to family relationship. This week I have something for you regarding boundaries. Boundaries are what? Or a boundary is what? A boundary is something that indicates, as the dictionary put it, limit or bounds. Okay, we can say limits between individuals. So if you're thinking about two countries, for example Haiti and the Dominican Republic, we know there's a boundary between these two countries, a line, a frontier, if you want to call it this way, that really separate these two countries, and then the line shows you, okay, this part is for the Dominican Republic and the other part is for Haiti. So I want to talk about a boundary between human beings, especially kids. For example, you have your kids. Have you taught them about the importance of boundary or limit or frontier? I know in this society, the American society, people put emphasis a lot on limit. For example, if you go and then you go into someone's house without being invited, that's when they call that trespassing. That's when you trespass the private domain of that person. So it is really similar for relationship between children or between adults. For example, if I don't invite you into my domain and you come into my domain, that means you do something illegal. So it is really important for us to teach our children the importance of boundaries. So there are different examples of healthy boundaries we can really cite, really. So boundaries are very important. They are healthy ones. That's mean if you follow them, that's mean your life will be really better. For example, we can refuse to bend rules when rules are set somewhere. So if we know that we cannot go over or violate the limits, so that's mean we follow rules and then we follow the law. So why we have so many criminals, so many people who are going to jail is that they don't follow the law. If law is established, that means we don't violate them, so we won't be committing any crimes. That's when we won't go to jail. So there are also, when you refuse to betray your moral values, that means you know your parents teach you not to steal, not to take other people's possessions, so you don't take them. These are limits. That means if you don't own something, you don't take it and then appropriate it to yourself. And then you refuse for someone to be too close to you emotionally. That's when these are boundaries emotionally. That's when if you're having a conversation, if you discussing personal matters with a friend, someone should not be coming and then get into the conversation and then really as if someone you invited. If you did not invite someone into your communication, your conversation, your dialogue, that person should not be. This is what we call setting boundaries. You refuse to allow someone to come to you physically. I've heard news of young girls who don't know certain young men, and then they find them on the street, and then 1 to 3 minutes later they get into relations, intimate relations, someone you did not know like a few minutes ago, and then you get into. So that means you don't know what is called to set boundaries. For example, your children or your child goes into someone's house. Have you taught that child, or have you told that child exactly, so okay, when you go into that person's house, you are not to go into the bedrooms of that person. So that's mean you invited into a house, they put you into the living room, or they say, okay, sit down here. So you are not to go into that person bedroom. You are not to go to other parts of that house without being invited. So even if you are invited into the bedroom is something sacred. You don't go into the bedrooms of anybody, even your friend, your little friend, or you don't go into that bedroom. So we know that behind the doors, so many bad things happen, even between children. So you are invited to a little party or to someone's house, you are not to go into the bedroom. Okay, so another boundary is the touching. That's when we teach ourselves, adults, even grown people, okay, grown-ups, we are not to touch without really being invited. Because you see a young woman, a young girl, so what business do you have to touch that person? Because the body of that person is the person's private property. You're not supposed to touch. So this is important as parents to teach our children. So because you are not to touch any child, okay, you are not to go into a person's bedroom, and then the same way, that person is not supposed to touch you. The person is not supposed to invite you to his or her bedroom. I can give you an example. I had a friend in Haiti, a young girl, and then her mother just out of the blue, okay, allowed her to go to someone's house to sleep, to spend the night, a person that she just met. And then morning came, they found that girl, that young girl, kneeling in front of the bed and then dead. So that was a very tragic event in our lives as young friends. That's mean, so what business did she have going into that person's house? You don't know exactly what's going on there. Okay, you can tell me, okay, I know we are good friends. Okay, so that's your business. But I'm telling you, so many bad things happen behind closed doors. So you let your child go to a party, to someone's house. So do you have some adult supervision there? Okay, adult that can check to see what's going on? Because if I let my child go anywhere, so that's when I have to talk to an adult and to say, please don't let her out of your sight at all. This is what we call boundaries. Because a lot of things, when you go into a private domain of a person, the person has the right to think, or the person may think that he or she has the right to do anything to you. Because there are no eyes really checking on what's going on. Okay, so it is important also to teach your children to stay in groups. That's when wherever they go, stay in groups, not alone with another boy, not alone with another girl. Okay, many bad things happen. Okay, this is very important. So boundaries are very important. Why boundaries are very important? Because that kind of limit can prevent a lot of bad things from happening. Because a lot of young girls, they get pregnant. How? Because they go to people's house, to a young boy's house or a young man's house, and then they, behind closed doors, okay, or he's my friend or she's my friend, okay, they alone behind closed doors, and then so many things happening. That's how a lot of young girls get exposed to a very early to sexual activities, to sexual encounters. It is important to teach our children to know what is a boundary. So teach your child, your girl, okay, a boy or a young man is not supposed to touch them without their consent. And then what does a young kid, a young boy, what business does a young boy have to touch a young girl? Because you are children. Why should you supposed to touch? Why should you touch another girl? Why should you touch a boy? Okay, it is important for you to teach them, because as a parent, I wouldn't be happy to know that, okay, in school, a boy, okay, goes out of his way and touches my girl. That would make me very, 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 very mad. And then how can we prevent that? By teaching them, by telling them, okay, you go to school, people are not supposed to touch you, you're not supposed to be alone with other children, yeah, especially with one child at a time, and then you're not supposed to be alone with any teachers. So you have after school, you have a special help, okay, extra help. So are there other children there? Because it is very important to know, to set boundaries. And then even if you have 17, 18, 20 years old, we set curfews also, because there should be a boundary. We should not allow our children, okay, while we are in bed sleeping, we should not allow our children to be out there. Okay, I'm going to a party, I'm going to a friend's house, and then behind your back, you don't know what's going on. Okay, these are some ways that you can really use to avoid some dangers from happening in our life. Because whenever these things happen, that can really break families apart. We know, if I ask you the question, why is it important to set boundaries? So what would be your answer? Okay, we know that setting boundaries prevents really dangers from happening. If this society knew how to set boundaries, so we would know it is wrong for someone to rape another person, and or for us to be raped by someone else. If this society knew what is it is like to set boundaries. For example, we would know that it is wrong to bully other kids, to bully other people, and it is wrong for us to be bullied by other people if we knew how to set boundaries. Okay, physically, okay, emotionally. So a husband or a wife would not mistreat the other person if the person knew how to set boundaries. For example, physically, you should not hit that person. That person's body is his or her body. You should not go and then hit that person and just like that. Okay, so for example, emotionally, you wouldn't mistreat that person emotionally. So you see the kind of importance that has. And then, for example, if you set boundaries, your child, your girls would know that, okay, I should not go into the person's bedroom, or I should not touch that person, or that person should not touch me, because this is what we call boundaries. The Haitian government cannot leave its country and then come here and then establish itself in this American country, in the US. Nobody would be allowed to do that, because they know their place, they know their limit. Okay, so I'm telling you, physically, emotionally, and in terms of relation, we need to know how to set boundaries. If we knew how to set boundaries, there would be less angry people, there would be less stress, there would be less confrontations among groups of ethnic groups, or among white and black, because we don't know how to keep ourselves to ourselves. So it is important to know. So if you liked some of the ideas, so you can subscribe to the channel, the Willie Delmas channel, and then I will see you next Friday for another topic. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you had some ideas. Ciao. Next Friday.